Hello and welcome to my 2020 highlight hikes of the year. I got in 52 hikes this year and I wanted to share some of my favorite ones of the year. 2020 was a weird and interesting year, as we all know, but it did allow for a lot of adventure and getting out into the wilderness and getting to know some of my friends better, as well as having some great times. Let me introduce you to some of my hiking buddies this year. Tristan, my son, got in 28 hikes with me. Our big adventure guide and friend, AG, got us out for 5 good hikes and climbs this year, as well as our buddy Jake got in 3 hikes and climbs with us this year. My friends Ed and Sarah did a fair amount of hiking with me. Ed got in 6 hikes, as Sarah got in 4, and my friend Rod got in 3 hikes with me this year, which was also a lot of fun. I also got a chance to hike with my friend Maddie and got in 1 hike with her this year. I got in 2 big climbs with my friends Deanna and Brandon at Mount St. Helens and Glacier Peak as well. Started off the year hiking with my friend Doug and got in a New Year's Day hike with him. From there I hiked with Madeline. She had gone to school with Seth and knew Seth while in junior high and high school. She had great times learning some stories about Seth, as well as what she learned from his life and his death. I got in multiple hikes with my friends Sarah and Ed as well. And although we'll go over all the hikes we did, we had a good time, as we always do. We have a good time teasing each other and just generally hiking and having a good time. We did have one really good hike, which I thought was a scenic and kind of iconic hike. We did Blanca Lake late in the fall, and we hit nothing but rain all the way up. And by the time we got to the lake, it was cold and it was freezing. And poor Sarah, I think she was almost hypothermic. Ed brought some Fireball to warm our insides, but all in all, it was a really good day with some cloudy weather at the lake. But I'm glad I did it. I finally got that one out of the way, as it's one I've been wanting to do for a long period of time. I want to thank Ed for suggesting that one. It was his idea that day, even though we told him it might have been a bad one. My 4th hike of the year was up to Reflection Lakes with Tristan. Each year for the last couple of years, Tristan and I have taken a snow camping trip. We snowshoe in, pitch our tent, snuggle into our sleeping bags, and have a good time chatting and watching some videos. You can see by the pictures that there's a lot of snow up there this year. We got another 6 or 8 inches while we slept that night, and our tent actually collapsed on us as we didn't knock the snow off it. It was a good trip, and we're glad we did it, as we always do. The next hike that I want to add in is the Dirty Harry Peak Trail. I did it several times this year, and to some degree there's nothing special about this trail, but on this day we had some beautiful blue skies, we had some great snow on the trees, and it just made for some really great pictures that I wanted to share with everybody. Tristan and I had a good time. Luckily I've got him to break the trail, as the snow was pretty deep, but we had a really good day that day. Well, finally we're going to start knocking off some of the big adventures that we did. We did Mount St. Helens in March, and right before the COVID hit. I had fallen on Mount St. Helens back in November and had taken a nice little cut to the face, so I was glad to get back to my nemesis and get this one done. We couldn't have asked for a better day and a group of people to climb with. The weather was fantastic, there was no wind at top, and I felt strong that day, and it was just a very good day of climbing and hiking that you just really couldn't beat. The views from Mount St. Helens on a blue sky day like this are just phenomenal, and I just couldn't ask for a better day, and some great pictures and some great scenery. Our next big adventure was Ingalls Peak on the east side of the mountains. AG included us to go on this one and do some rock climbing and mountaineering. I'll tell you what, I've decided that rock climbing is probably a little bit out of my element, but we had a good day and some beautiful scenery, that's for sure. I tore my long head of my biceps climbing on this one and only got about halfway up. The next picture is my favorite picture of the entire year, and AG took it. It's of Tristan and I hanging on the wall. I want to thank AG for some of the great adventures we had this year. It started with this one, but there were many more. And talk about more hikes that were great. This one here up at Kolchak Peak was a phenomenal one as well. We went up to Leavenworth the day before, and Tristan and AG did a little rock climbing while Jake and I check out the town of Leavenworth. The next day we got up and got to the top of Kolchak Peak. As you can see from these pictures, there's some phenomenal scenery from up there as well. The day was a lot of fun. I was a little tired, so I didn't hike as strong as I wanted to, and there was one little section that I thought was a little more exposed than I appreciated, but AG was nice enough to rope me up on the way back down, so I felt more comfortable. This picture here is of the glacier going up to Kolchak Peak, and it was definitely a good climb up there. The boys and I had a good time doing that hike, hanging out together, and generally just creating some new memories. I'm glad that we did it, and it's definitely one that I would do again, especially if you can get some good day. This brings me to one of maybe my favorite hikes and climbs of the year, and that was Mount Baker. We had to wait several weekends for the weather to get good, but finally when it did, we decided to try it. We got up there and got just a little bit of everything this day as we did a car-to-car of Mount Baker. We had whiteout conditions at one point, we had sunny conditions at one point, and we had windy conditions at one point. The snow was in pretty condition most of the way, so it was a pretty enjoyable climb, and I felt pretty good this day, which makes it always nice for me as well. Jake, AG, and Tristan and I have been trying to get this one done for a long time, and it made it close, so now we just had one more volcano to do for Tristan and I. I like Mount Baker because it's got a big mountain feel to it. You get a little bit of everything, kind of like on Rainier, but maybe not quite as taxing as Mount Rainier. So looking forward to doing it again next year and getting some great pictures as well as some great times with my friends. Well, as we moved more into the summer, we did a little bit less hiking in the snow. I got over to Eastern Washington with my friend Rod and we did Yellowtail. It was a great day because from the viewpoint there, you get to look east and see some of the things we've done like Kolchak Peak. You got to see Dragon Tail and some of the other peaks like Ingalls Peak that we'd done the year before. So it was good to have that long distance view of them. It was a great day with some great wildflowers and just a good time hanging out with my buddy as we see life very similar and have a good time joking and having a good time. But it wasn't too long before we were back in the snow again. AG said, hey, let's go try Sahalee Peak, and this was a really good one that I really enjoyed. I've been wanting to get up Sahalee Arm and see the views from there, and to throw a peak on top of it, boy, that made even better sense. I heard some of the best views of all of Washington are from up here, and so we got up there, and sure enough, I wasn't disappointed. There were some phenomenal views all along the way. Again, I'm not a big rock climber, so as we got to Sahalee Peak, I didn't feel comfortable going all the way to the top, but the guys did it, and they had a great view from up there as well. I hung out down below and just enjoyed myself in the sunshine and relaxed and had a good time. As you can see from the pictures, we had a great bluebird day, and you couldn't have asked for better weather, better company, and better views. Well, finally, we got to knock off Glacier Peak this year. It's the 5th volcano in Washington and the last one for us to get done. So we joined a group of friends and headed up there. The weather on the first day was fantastic, and there are some fantastic views as you hike all the way up to base camp. When we woke up the next morning, though, it was definitely cloudy and misting and raining. So we did an alpine start and headed up. We did get above the clouds and got some fantastic views. Again, one of those days that we hit some pretty good wind at one point and some rain, but in the end we also had some great weather and some great views. Couldn't ask for a better day. We got to the summit, came back down to base camp, and Tristan and I decided to hoof it out all the way back, so we did 23 miles that day. So I was pretty exhausted by the time we got back to the car, but so glad we got this one done. I'm going to throw this one in, not because it was my favorite hike of the year. In fact, it was probably one of my least favorite ones, but I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And one of the main things I wanted to get up to Government Meadows and see what Government Meadows look like and what the log cabin looked like up there. It's my big hope someday to do the PCT from the beginning to end, and so this certainly ignited my inspiration and my motivation to eventually get it done, but it's still going to be a couple years off before I can. I did get out and do Summit Lake this year, which is one of those iconic hikes that you see in all the social media posts. It's got a great view of Mount Rainier with the lake in it, and if you catch it on a bluebird day like I did, you can't ask for better pictures, that's for sure. When I posted on Facebook, several of my friends also said, hey, try Bearhead Mountain next time. So instead of taking a left to Summit Lake, I also did Bearhead Mountain a couple weeks later and also got some fantastic views of the mountain. You're right up so close to the mountain that it makes it lots of fun and you get some great pictures. The colors were just starting to change and I got a great fall color as well. This brings me to one of the most favorite pictures I've had of the entire year. It's up at Alta Mountain and Lila Lakes, and I've done this a couple times in the fall, and I really truly believe this might be one of the prettiest places in all of Washington if you catch it on a bluebird day with the fall colors changing. Tristan did it with me this day, as I told him I wanted him to because I knew he'd really enjoy it. That little bit right above Rachel Lake up to Alta Mountain is so spectacular, and you see so many great peaks and great lakes and great colorful flowers in the fall. I highly recommend this one if you can do this in maybe late September or early October on a bluebird day. With the seasons changing, you never know what you're going to get, and Rod and I decided to head up to Mount Rainier one day to do a little hike up to Spray Park. We didn't realize we were going to end up with 6 to 8 inches of snow. As we got to the parking lot, the snow got deeper and deeper, and as we hiked up to the park, it got deeper and deeper. Thank goodness for GPS, or else we would never gotten up to Spray Park, and we definitely would have got lost. We didn't do the entire hike that we were wanting to do that day, but it was still a lot of fun, and we had some good stories. I do a lot of hiking by myself, as I like to have time to myself in solitude, but once in a while you get to go out and hang out with a good friend and get to know them as well. I've known Maddie since she was a teenager, but I've never really gotten a chance to be alone with her and get to know her as a person. This was a fun hike as we get a good time and got her into some adventures she'd never been doing before, but also got to know each other a little bit better as she's now a young adult. I'm looking forward to doing more hikes with her. As December was upon us, I finally got up to Mount Eleanor. It's another hike I've been wanting to do. Tristan encouraged me to do it. He'd done it the week before with Jake, and so he said, "Dad, we gotta go do it. It's got some great views and you're really gonna enjoy this one." And we did. We got another great day and got up there with some bluebird conditions. It was just about what I was looking for. A little bit of fun, a little bit of mountaineering, and some great views from the top. And I'm really glad that Tristan and I drove all the way out there on a Sunday to do this one. As you can see, it has one of my third favorite pictures, which is this one. Great views, great times, and a great kid to hang out with. Got my 52nd hike of the year done at Poo Poo Point with my friend Ed and Tristan. It was a great day. Ed and I coordinated our 52nd hike together so we could do it together, as we've done a lot of hikes throughout the year. Great times and a great year for hiking, that's for sure. Well, that concludes my 52 hikes of the 2020 year season. I'm going to leave you with some of my favorite pictures of the year so you can enjoy them. I encourage you to get out into nature. There's something special about getting out in the woods and seeing the outdoors, and I think God gave it to us so that we can enjoy it. I also enjoy getting out and enjoying my friends and getting to tell stories and jokes and just generally have a good time in a relaxed environment. Enjoy, and I look forward to the 2021 season, and I hope to see you out there on the hiking trails.